If you're new to video editing, I can understand how overwhelming and how sometimes just frustrating that process can be, because I remember when I was in your shoes, I didn't know where to start or how to start even, and every video felt like a daunting task. But that doesn't have to be the case for you, because in this video, I'll be sharing with you the fundamentals and the tips to getting started in video editing. So if you're learning how to edit, we're going to cover all the things you need to know in order to complete your first video. It's super exciting. So the first thing I like to tell people is to stay organized. In this part, we'll create a project and use a folder structure that I've actually designed and I use for all my professional work. And I work with some of the biggest YouTubers on the platform, and I'll be giving this folder structure away completely for free. You can download it and follow along if you want. It'll be in the second link in the description below. Okay, great. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is just go to your desktop, create a new folder, and just name it the name of the video. So in this case, I'll just name it practice video. Then what you're gonna wanna do is take the free folder structure that you can download below and just drag and drop all of those folders into your practice video or your video of choice. And then when you open up that folder, now you have a perfect folder structure organized for you. So you have your A-roll, which is basically your main talking head footage. You have your B-roll, you have your sound design, which is like sound effects. You have your VO, which is a voiceover if you have that for your video. You have music, and then you have miscellaneous for any photos or anything else you want to add into your project. You have your projects and your exports, and we'll explain all of this. So the first thing you want to do is find your footage that you filmed. So this will probably be on your SD card from your camera. Mine is in a different folder, so I'll just highlight this and I'll drag and drop it into my A-roll. Then when that's done, if I have any B-roll, I'll highlight that and I'll drag and drop that into my B-roll folder. And I'll basically do the same process if I have sound effects or voiceover or anything else that I already want to put in this project or that I pre-recorded or created. Then what I'll do is open my editing software of choice. So I'll come over here to Premiere Pro because that's what I'm using. Great. Now you're going to want to come over here to create a new project. There will be something similar for every single editing software out there. And then you name your project, so practice project. And then you come over here to project location. You come to choose location. And what you want to do is go ahead and find that folder that we created for this video. So for me, I named it practice video. It's right here. I'm going to come over here to the folder that says projects. I'm going to highlight that, click Premiere Pro, and I'm going to click choose. And then I'm going to click create. Now, if you go back to your folder that you created for this video and you click on projects and click inside Premiere Pro, you see that our project has now been saved in this folder. The whole point of this folder structure that I've created is to keep everything together, neat and organized. Now, most editing softwares or NLEs, which are non-linear editing softwares, most of these editing softwares have bins that you can create where you can organize your footage. So what you're going to want to do is just drag and drop the folders that you have assets in. So if you have assets in A-roll, B-roll, voiceover, I want you to just drag and drop it into your media bin. Now your media bin is going to be different in every editing software, but every editing software will have one. So you'll see I'll just drag and drop the A-roll. I'll let it go. And now when I come over here to this arrow, it has automatically created a bin. And when I do the drop down, you see that my A-roll footage is in fact here. So I'll do the same thing with my B-roll, and I'll do the same thing with my voiceover. Perfect. Now, if this does not work when you drag and drop, all you need to do is right click, create new bin, and then just name it whatever you want. Now, quick tip, if you're running out of space on your computer, I highly recommend using a hard drive. Specifically, I like storing and editing from the Samsung T5 SSD. I found it to be my personal favorite. So this is the fundamental process of staying organized. This is crucial to making your life easier, trust me. So from here, we have all of our assets and all of our files organized, both in our editing software and in our folders. Now we will start editing. As you've already noticed, I'm doing this inside of Premiere Pro. But I want to let you know that whatever NLE or nonlinear editing software you're using, they're all very similar. So you can view this all as fundamentals and basically carry those fundamentals over to your software of choice. Now, the first thing we'll do is import our A-roll or our main talking head footage into the timeline itself. You just go to your A-roll folder that we created, double click, choose the clip that you want to import into the timeline, This area here will be the timeline, and you just simply drag and drop it in. And then you'll see that your footage or your timeline has now been created. Now, if you have a voiceover, all you need to do is simply do the same thing, just drag and drop your voiceover audio. Instead of having to zoom in and line up this audio to make it sync up perfectly, Premiere Pro has this really cool feature, and a lot of other editing softwares also have it. All you need to do is highlight all the clips, right click, and look for something that says synchronize, and then just click OK. Perfect. And you'll see that audio has automatically been synchronized. So to keep things super simple, the main tool you'll need to start doing the bare minimum, which is the actual cutting itself, is what we call the blade tool. So to get to the blade tool, all you need to do is inside of Premiere Pro, you can come over here to this razor tool, or you can click B. In most editing softwares, it's the keyboard shortcut B in order to activate the blade tool. With Premiere Pro, it does not automatically come with this. I believe that it is C, but I changed my keyboard shortcuts. However, we're not going to cover that in this video. So for this video, all you need to do is either click C or come over here and activate the blade tool here, and then you can start cutting your footage where you want. Now, to get back to your cursor on Premiere Pro, you can either click V, and on editing softwares, you can click A, or if you have your blade tool activated, you can just come back here to the cursor over here, and then you'll have your cursor tool so you can actually move things around. Okay, so now you know those two tools, we can begin to actually cut our footage. And I won't go in and cut this whole video, but instead I'll just show you how to do it once, then share a couple of cutting techniques, because remember, we're just learning the fundamentals here. So now just a practical lesson very quickly is let's cut out a mistake in our video. So I'm talking here and I stop talking here, and then all of this is just empty space. And then I start talking again at this point. So I want to cut all of this out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to simply activate my blade tool. I'm going to head over to the spot that I want to make a cut. And I'm going to simply look at that line that appears, and I want to line it up perfectly where I want to make a cut. And I'm just going to click and it'll make a cut. And I'll do the same thing down here on my voiceover. And then when I have cut out all the places I wanted, I'll just simply highlight all the clips, and then I'll click the backspace key. And then you'll see that there's a gap here. So you can do one of two things. You can highlight all these and just simply drag and drop it back together. Or you can just click on this empty space and then it will highlight. And then all you do is click backspace and it'll bring those two together. And now your mistake is gone. Now I want to share tips to cut your footage in order to stand out and really make your videos honestly instantly better. These are known as the jump cut, and this is a great cut to use to help engagement. So it would go something like this. Imagine all of this area is just me talking to the camera, all of this. Imagine I wanted to make it a little bit more engaging. What I'll do is I'll just simply make a cut. Great, so I have this video of me talking, and what I did is just make a basic cut between two different clips, or two of the same clips, just cutting out the mistake. And you have this just weird jarring cut. So what you can do is a jump cut, which is where basically you just come over here to this clip, come over to your effect controls and whatever editing software you're using, and just scale this up a little bit and zoom in. And what happens is now you make the clip a little bit more engaging, and it feels like a different angle from a camera rather than just a mistake that you made in the editing software. As you can see here, that is a jump cut. It's a really, really good technique to use to increase engagement, because as you're watching here, it makes it feel like it's a new camera angle. This was the actual editing part. And of course, there's so much more to know and learn. But for now, these fundamentals will get you through your first videos. Just to summarize, the idea of this is to cut out all the mistakes and cut down your video into the cut you want. And you can utilize these cutting techniques to uniquely affect the pacing and emotion of your final video. Before we move on to one of my favorite parts of the edit, I want to take literally a couple of seconds to let you know that we just launched a video editing course on how to edit short form content inside of Premiere Pro, where we cover all of the technical. And for people who want to actually edit as a career, we have a full section in there where I actually show you how I get clients and I walk you through our process. We host our course on Skillshare, and for those of you that don't know, Skillshare, you have to pay each month to be a part of the platform. But we are offering the first 50 people who sign up for our course with the first link in the description below completely free access. So you can join the full course without having to pay for a Skillshare account. The slots are filling up super fast and we don't have many left. So if you want completely free access, then sign up with the first link in the description below. All right, let's get back to the video. So at this point, you have the skills to add your own B-roll. And B-roll is essentially supplemental footage that you put on top of your A-roll to make your videos more engaging or to show what you're telling. Earlier in this video, you saw me do that while I was talking about my hard drive. While my A-roll was talking to you about the hard drive, I had B-roll showing what the hard drive was. So for example, here I am talking about a hard drive and I'm editing the video that you're actually watching. You'll have already seen this example. When I talk about my hard drive, I show the hard drive. So in this area here, when I start talking about the hard drive, imagine I talk about the hard drive from here to, let's say, here. What I want to do is simply come to my B-roll, double click, and I'll choose the one I want. So I think this one maybe looks a little bit better. And I'll come over here and scroll through where I want. And let's say I want this clip right here. So what I'll do is I'll create my end point right here. I'll click I on my keyboard and I'll come to where I want it to end, maybe right there. And I'll click O for out point. All I'll do is I'll hover over this film icon and I'll drag and drop the B-roll clip over my footage. And then when I talk about the hard drive, I'll mute it so you can see. I begin talking about the hard drive, and now you can actually see the hard drive while I'm talking about the hard drive. That's exactly my process for implementing B-roll. Now, on to the 50% of the videos that go unseen. Music and sound effects. This is a super important part of editing because the music can help you bring out that emotion you're trying to evoke or the feeling you're trying to bring out in the video. In the sound effects, they can elevate your edit from easily a 5 to a 10. Now, music and sound effects is a whole video in itself, so if you want us to cover that, leave a comment in the description below. Awesome, you've now finished the edit, or at least you have the fundamentals to get a full edit done yourself. So now let's go through how to actually render and export your video so you can share it with the world. The first thing you want to do is render your footage. So basically what you'll do for that is you'll come up here to sequence and you'll come over here to render into out. And it'll simply begin rendering all your footage. So once that's complete, you'll see that the bar on top is no longer yellow, it's green, which means it's ready to be exported. So all you need to do is come over here to export, click on this. You want to come over here and name your file or your video. So for me, it'll be practice project MP4. And then what you're going to want to do is come to the location, click on this, go to your folder that we created in the beginning, and then go over to exports and click on V1. That stands for version 1 and click save. And then what you're going to want to do is make sure that this is on high quality. I like to put it at 4K, but you can put it at 1080p if you'd like. It depends on your project settings. Come over to format and make sure this is selected for H.264. Then what you're going to want to do is make sure range is selected for entire source, and then you're going to export. Now, if you go back to your original folder and you go to exports, version 1, you'll see that your video is here. If you guys like this video and you would like to see a similar video, but this time instead on how to get started in video editing as an actual editor who wants to do this for a living, then let us know in the comments and we can make that a video where it's less focused on the technical of editing and more focused on the actual business side of editing. Now, don't forget to enroll in our course now before those slots get filled up. It's going to be the first link in our description below. And if you want my free folder structure, that will be the second link in the description below. If you guys found any value in this video, we would appreciate it if you subscribed, and thanks for watching.